Welcome to the All Access Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Joseph Bruen. This week, a guest we haven't seen in a long time here in the New England area, a retired pro wrestler, of course, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, class of 2014, one half of the Decolation, formerly known as Dane, and of course, one half of Fire and Ice, formerly known as Inferno. Ladies and gentlemen, Stacey Lopes, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me, Joe. It's an honor.
Pleasure to have you here, and going to be a good opportunity to just kind of touch base and, see what you've been up to and kind of cover the career for those who aren't aware of who you are. So be good to get to know you as well.
Very good. Very good.
So rewind to the very beginning. When you were growing up as a child, when did you first discover pro wrestling, and who were some of your favorites?
When my father brought me to the Providence Civic Center for the first time, it was big feuds with Snuka and Andre and Tony Atlas and all them, and I got hooked right away as soon as I saw it. It was great. Very
Nice.
early Hogan days.
And how was the attendance in Providence at that time? Was it packed house? Was it light?
Oh yeah, it was always packed. Packed.
Yeah.
There was never an empty seat anywhere.
And what are some of the other venues that you would attend? Was that pretty much your spot for WWF, or would you kind of go to other?
Yeah, at the time, that was pretty much it. I was young, so we didn't go to other venues too much. It was always the Civic Center, and that was about it. Because Jack Ritchie's was already gone by that time. So there wasn't really a lot of things around except for WWE at the time, because the independent circuits at that point were non-existent.
Right. And at what point did you decide that you wanted to maybe give it a shot and become a wrestler yourself?
Actually, it's weird because I never thought about it until Chain Link. Me and Chain Link were friends way before he started wrestling. Yeah, we used to work at Rhode Island Hospital together. And after I left the job, I didn't see him for about a year, and I was at the hospital doing something. And I was going up the elevator. Next thing I know, Chain Link jumps in the elevator like the only way he can do it with his Chain Link ways. And he goes, "Guess what? I own a wrestling organization. You got to come." I said, "Okay, when do you want me there?" And that was it. That's just how it started. Never thought about it any time before that. But Chain knows me. I'm the kind of guy, you ask me to do anything, I'll try it at least once just for the heck of it. So
was he the money guy behind NEWA with Rocco, or was he co-owner? What was his position?
When I started, was at the very ending of just him owning. It was at the switchover point. He had me go to the first show, one of the shows they had at East Providence at the fairgrounds, which was literally weeks before the Rocco situation started. And so I actually started wrestling the day Rocco took over, because he had all the wrestlers come into the office. We went to some boxing thing just to do a mess around battle royal. Never even done anything yet. And he just threw everybody in the ring and said, "Hey, have fun." And we did about an hour battle royal just sitting in the ring, beating the crap out of each other, nobody knowing what the heck to do correctly. But it was a lot of fun.
And how did Rocco meet up with Dave? Like, how did that transition take place?
As far as I know, it was the same thing. He kind of went to like the East Providence show that they had at the, it was at East Providence High School in the back. They used to have this big carnival back there, and he did shows there. And as far as I know, that's where Rocco met up with Chain, and it all happened very quickly from there.
And do you know why Chain gave it up as far as just having it on his own?
I think it was mainly money backing, because Rocco had the backings and the connections to do more with it than Dave did. But Dave, I mean, they always did it 50-50. So it was not like Rocco took it over and Chain wasn't involved. Chain was in the background involved the entire time. And but it was mainly connections and money. Rocco had what it needed to get to the next level that Chain did not have at the time.
And so what year was that you joined on with Rocco?
That is a tough, I do not know years very well anymore. 90, 91, somewhere in that general area,
Okay.
something like that. Could have
All
been
right.
either, yeah, in that general area. It was early 90s, maybe very late 80s, but early 90s, I'm pretty sure.
And the first time that I met you was as a fan, and that would have been in 1993. So
Yeah.
you were about 2 years in, I guess, into your
Yeah,
career at
about
that
two,
point.
3 years in.
So yeah, it was a high school show, either Johnston or North
Johnson,
Providence.
it was actually Johnson. It was a show that Greg Valentine and Tito Santana wrestled each other. It was the first time I met you, and
Okay,
that was
yeah,
at Johnston High School.
yep. And I remember Virgil was on the show as well.
Virgil was it. Yeah, he was always on the show for some reason.
Yeah,
He just used to always show up and say, "Hey, I'm here." So,
yeah, nice. And what are your earliest memories of NEWA? So like you said, Rocco takes over. He takes the reins. You enter the promotion. Tell us about your very first show or your very first memories, kind of showing up, and other than the battle royal that you mentioned, and kind of who kind of was there anybody that took you under their wing at first, or you became friendly with right off the bat?
the first person that was very surprising, starting right from the day with the Battle Royal, was actually Studley Steve Stallion. He was a really good guy. We're in the ring. He started giving me pointers immediately because he had already been wrestling for a little while. Uh, but then we went to into training. In my very first match, me and this guy started the same night. I was his very first match. He was my very first match, which was live wire Dave Badula. So we both wrestled each other for the very first time. We were in a 6-man tag. Uh, it was yeah, everybody that was in that match is gone now. Was gone very shortly after that. But yeah, it was me and Dave Padula for the very first time in the ring
And
together.
at that point, Dave Padula was probably Sir Reaper.
No, he was Livewire at the time. He started directly
Okay,
as Livewire. Sir Reaper came a couple of years later, but
okay.
he started as Livewire. Was his very first gimmick he did.
And what were you wrestling under? Which name?
I was Diesel at the time. I was a diesel mechanic. I went in the full overalls and stuff. And then right after that, I went into a tag team with a guy that was kind of our trainer. He came out of Killer Kowalski School, um, Knight Rider. So the match directly after Dave, I went into a tag team with him, and I was in tag team ever since.
Wow, Knight Rider. That's funny because
He wasn't
y-
there for a very long time, maybe 6 months.
yeah, and I remember that name. When you said
Yeah,
that, it kind of took me back.
very tall guy. He came out of Killer Kowalski's. He was a good guy, but then he just disappeared one day. Nobody ever know what happened to him.
Just left the business.
Just left. Didn't even say goodbye. Nothing. Never saw him again anywhere.
Wow. Well, it's not for everybody. So some people
He paid a lot
vanish.
of money to go to school too, so it was like I was surprised.
Right. Now, fast forward, you do shows, NEWA would regularly run at the high schools, like we talked about. They would run at the Crescent Park Carousel
Yep.
sometimes, outdoor festivals like Federal Hill every year, so they'd be constantly doing these big shows and often with large crowds as well. So NEWA was doing pretty good. And really, they were the only show in town for Rhode Island. There
Yeah.
wasn't
Well,
really anything else going on,
yeah.
so
There was. Yeah. That's when. I mean, they basically started the ball rolling again for independence to start back up again. I mean, other than them, all you had was Killer Kowalski School, which had their own organization at the time, which was directly hooked into WWE because that's where at the time Triple H and Perry Saturn and all them guys were training there because we used to meet them all the time at that time period because we used to go to Killer Kowalski's all the time and we used to gab with them guys all the time. But yeah, it was that general time period.
and
And
PLW Power League Wrestling, that was another
yeah,
one that
Power
was
League
around.
Wrestling started shortly afterwards.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Killer Kowalski a little bit. What was your experiences there like over the times that you were there?
Oh, just got to meet him. He was a great guy. Big, little nerve wracking meeting because at one of the times he was Killer Kowalski. I mean, but yeah, he was just a great guy. Very great guy. We go over, we say hi, and he's like, "Hey, come out over into the back room." He actually brought us in the back room, and that's when we got to meet a lot of the guys that were there. And yeah, it was at Warwick Musical Warwick Vets Center, in Warwick, which is actually, I think, in Cranston. But yeah, he used to do a bunch of shows over there. And that's where we got to meet him. He was a very good guy. Very
Did you
good
ever
guy.
do any training while you were there visiting, or?
Nah, just bull crapping.
Yeah. Now
Yeah, that's
moving
where I
on
got.
to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, nothing.
Well, moving on to, RIWA, NEWA, they're kind of sister promotion at one point. Were you a part of RIWA as well, or just sticking with NEWA?
Not actually a part of. I did a couple of because it was owned by Wolverine and them.
Yeah.
A little bit of stuff, nothing major. I stayed a lot with NDWA and then UCW afterwards. Because it was once again Rhode Island Wrestling came around as part of that time period near the second half of NEWA.
Yeah.
And but if you go online now, you're going to see any matches. It's all under Rhode Island Wrestling, not on the NEWA now, which is weird because I've been looking up a lot of stuff and everything's under Rhode Island Wrestling.
Really?
And yeah, a lot of the videos he's on there that's Rhode Island Wrestling is actually NEWA.
Huh. That's strange.
Yeah, because they got matches of the Power Masters, me and Chain Link, because we were tag team partners for a long time. And that was all NEWA, but it's all on the Rhode Island Wrestling now.
Was he your first tag team partner?
He was my first major tag team partners. Yeah, we were tag team partners quite a few years. I mean, me and Dave were very, very close friends. He's that type of friend that if you're going to go out and get trouble, that's the person you call, and you two go out and get in trouble. And just me and Dave, we were close friends back then.
So for the fans that aren't aware of Dave, obviously he was known as the Reverend Shane Link. He was,
Reverend
of
Chain
course,
Link, the man.
the Reverend Dave Brannigan for a while
Yep.
there. Dave Jackson, his real name, of course. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about Dave and what he was like as a person outside of the ring?
He is the most loyal friend you could ever meet in the world. He would literally give you the shirt off his back no matter what. But he also had this crazy side too. Now, a lot of people got to see his crazy side. That was me and him thing because we're so close and went out all the time. But he was just a crazy bastard. I love that guy. He was just funny. The things we'd go out to nightclubs and he would go in the chain link right in the middle of the nightclub without even thinking about it. And he was just funny as hell.
And who were some of the teams that you would work with while teaming with Dave Jackson specifically?
The big ones, the best matches we ever was Torture Squad, which was Thrash and Misdemeanor, who were two very tough guys. We used to beat the crap out of us. We would literally rip our clothing off of each other in matches. They got so vicious sometimes. And of course, Freedom Force. You had the Outlaws. Who else was there at the time?
And who was the Outlaws? Who comprised that team?
I don't remember their individual names.
Okay.
It was two young guys. One was really tiny and really skinny. I can't remember his name though.
So they didn't go on to be anybody else.
They lasted about 6 months or so, something like that. We also Bulldozer and Orca. We did a lot of matches with.
Orca the Whale?
Orca the Whale.
Oh yeah.
And of course Nightmare. We did a lot against Nightmare at the end.
Yeah. And what happened to Orca the Whale? Still around or?
He died not too long ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, he passed away as far as I know.
Oh my gosh, didn't know
I would
that.
say about 4 or 5 years ago he passed away. I know I was already down here in Florida when he did. So.
And Freedom Force. I was young at that time, but obviously Kid Liberty, Matt Storm. Who was his partner?
It was Kid Liberty and Iron Fist. Kyle, don't remember his last name.
Oh, is that Kyle Storm?
Yeah, Kyle.
Kyle White.
It was Matt and Kyle. I think it was Kyle West and Matt. Can't remember his name. But
I didn't
he was
realize.
a martial arts kid. He used to wear all the martial arts keys in the ring and
okay.
stuff like that.
Oh wow. All right. So Dave Jackson, outside of the ring, any particular story that you can share that's not too crazy or anything come to mind as a good memory?
Trying to think, Dave, things we've done. Before his wife Becky, He used to drag me in. He would always meet these women everywhere. He'd meet women everywhere, and I was married at the time. And every time he'd always have to drag me along, no matter what he was doing. It's like, you got to come. She has a friend. You got to come. You got to come. And he would always drag me into these situations in people's houses I don't know. And it's just, Dave, what are we doing? I don't know these people. You don't know these people. And he would just randomly call me up and says, I'm coming. I'm getting you right now. And I met these girls. We got to go meet them. And it's like, it was Dave. It was classic Dave back then. Before he met Becky. After he met Becky, he was a completely different person. He calmed right down.
Yeah.
And his parties he used to throw. He used to party with his first girl. He used to throw these parties at his house all the time that were always fun and awesome. I used to love going to them.
And when it comes to Rocco D'Alessandro, what was your relationship with him like over the years?
Oh, it was pretty good. I like Rocco. Rocco was one hell of a man in the early days. At the very beginning, he used to really take care of the wrestlers. Back when he was doing really well. I mean, we would used to go to a nightclub challenges, and we can go in there, drink anytime. He would always take care of everything. He was a good man. And I worked with him behind the scenes a little bit, like all the belts we had. I made all the belts for him and everything. I did all that for him. And no, he was a good guy. Though Rock was awesome. I mean, I've always loved him. I'll always respect him. I never had a bad incident with him in all the years. He was a good man.
Any memories of his son, Rock Joseph?
Rock Joseph was an okay guy. Nobody really got to know Rock Joseph that much. Rock Joseph was not that much of a talker behind the scenes.
Hmm.
Rocco was there all the time. Rock Joseph would show up in and out with his girl. I mean, they were nice people. Nothing ever bad about them. I mean, that I see. I just never talked to Rock Joseph that much. Every once in a while.
And the regular ring announcer for quite some time was Bob the Padre Cleese. Any memories of
Actually,
Bob?
it's funny. When I started wrestling, Bob was a wrestler at the time called the Padre. A lot of people don't know that. When I first started, he was in the ring at the time. Actually, I think he was in my very first match. He was on the opposite side.
I had
I'm
no idea he
pretty
would
sure. Yeah, he wrestled for a very short time under the Padre, and basically around the time Rocco took over, he went over to the announcing. But yeah,
I mean,
he
he's
was
a big
Padre
guy,
the
so it makes
wrestler.
sense.
Yeah, he was an awesome guy. Funny as hell. Would not hesitate to bust your balls when you weren't looking. He would catch you off guard every time.
Now, when it comes to venues, like we mentioned, a lot of the festivals and the high schools, did you have a favorite venue to work for when it came to NEWA? Something you'd look forward to? Oh, I can't wait till we go back there. Or maybe they had a hot crowd each time.
Johnston was pretty good all the time. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Oh, Federal Hill, of course. Federal Hill was always awesome. I mean, Federal Hill was just party time in the back lot the whole time.
Yeah.
And the restaurants and the crowds were just insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But probably Federal Hill was my favorites.
Yeah, those are some of my earliest memories as a wrestling fan, and I would be there in 93, 94, 95, and just I was there every year, every time you guys went there. And it was always a blast. And I remember Iceberg Sonny D was brand new at the time.
Yep.
And at one of the shows there, and I was there early at ringside while they were still setting things up. And Sonny was practicing, running to the ring and kind of
Yeah.
sliding right in. And I remember being there for that because he was still brand new. But you guys
He
would end up
loved
becoming,
he loved to practice things like that. He would not take anything to chance. He would
right.
have to make sure it was perfect beforehand. Because a lot of guys, we won't practice going to the ring and things like that. We just hey, however we get out there, we get out there. But he was like very meticulous. It's like I had to look right. I was like, all right, you go for it.
And you guys would go on to become a tag team, and obviously Fire and Ice, Iceberg, and
Yep.
Inferno. How did you transition into the name Inferno? Kind of give us the background on that gimmick.
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story. I didn't have a choice. I had to give up my name Diesel. Rocco made me because at the time WWE borrowed a couple of our character names. So Kevin Nash became Diesel, and so Rocco came to me and says, "You know what? I made a little deal. I needed to change your name." And so took weeks and weeks and weeks trying to find a new name. And I saw a bumper sticker on the back of a gas truck, East Providence Oil, on the back of their oil truck. And it was, I forgot what it says, but it had Furno at the end of it. And I said, hey, I think that's going to be it.
Nice. And when it came to the look and the different gear, why don't you tell us about the gear of Inferno and what you put together for that?
Well, when we're in the tag team, I had the outfit made with all the flames going up it. The jackets that me and Dave used to wear and me and Sonny used to wear, I made all those by hand. All the fire jackets. I still got them in my closet over here too. Uh, yeah, I made all that stuff by hand. I was a
Oh,
sewer.
wow.
I was a sewer and a painter, so I did everything by hand.
And you still have it all.
I'll still have it all. Everything I've ever wore, I still have somewhere in here. I actually promised one of the jackets to the museum kid,
Yep.
and I just haven't sent it yet.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. So, as a tag team with Sunny D, the Iceberg, any memories of teaming up with him and some of your opponents over the years?
Well, Sonny, I mean, a lot of people don't know me and Sonny are brother-in-laws. He was married to my sister back when I was 15 years old. So me and Sonny go way, way, way back. He and I brought him in. I trained him this. I do a lot of the preliminary training with some of the guys. Like I trained Vinny, Dream Lord, and Dreamkeeper. I like to do it the same way, middle of winter time, hard frozen ground. Go out there and do suplexes to each other, and it toughens it up. And but Sonny, I mean, me and Sonny been together for so many years. I still talk to him at least once a month. We call each other. Uh, but I remember when for a year, I think it was 2 years, I tried to get Sonny to come in, and it's like, Sonny, come in and try this. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. He's like, oh no, I can't do that stuff. And then as soon as he stepped in the ring, that was it. He was hooked.
Yeah.
He was hooked.
And he had quite a career. He lasted a while, too.
Yeah, you still see him showing up in a match here and there. I
Yeah.
tell him he's crazy. He's a little old to be doing that stuff, but he
Right.
keeps doing it. He keeps doing it.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Vinny, Dream Lord,
He's my other
Dreamkeeper.
brother-in-law.
Is he your brother-in-law?
Yeah, just Vinny's my brother-in-law. I married his
Oh,
sister many years ago.
wow.
We've been
Did not
married
realize.
21 years now, me and his sister.
Wow. It's
And
fantastic.
our manager is my father-in-law. It's their father, J.R. Austin.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What's the history of JR for the fans that aren't aware of him?
He came in strictly for me and Sonny. He was Vinny's father, and he was always around doing things and stuff. And finally, we just said, you know what? Why don't you get in there and do something with us? And we took him on and managed. He was a manager with us for a couple of years, and then he went on and managed Iron Crust for a while until he got sick and bowed out of the business. But he was a great man. I miss him every day. Love you, pops. And
And the NEWA was, obviously, as we said, pretty prominent here in the Rhode Island area. There wasn't much else going on. And it really built up a lot of characters, that would go on to become mainstays in the New England area, like
yeah,
Jose Perez, who started off, obviously, he was the Commando, he was El
yeah,
Diablo,
he was.
you
You
know,
never knew what he was going to be from one month to the next,
yeah,
but he pulled off everything he did. So
right. When it came to backstage, what was the atmosphere like for the NEWA? As far as, were there a lot of egos? Did people get along there? What was that promotion like?
it was about 50-50. I mean, it's how you would expect it to be when you get a bunch of guys together, especially in the wrestling business. You got guys that don't know how to separate their character from their personality sometimes. So you always had people hitting heads every once in a while, but nothing out of the crazy. I mean, Rocco would put a lid on anything too much if anything got out of hand. So would Shane. He would get involved in his funny way, stop people from being mad at each other. But I mean, you had egos. I don't want to say names of guys with egos because
Yeah.
they'll get mad at me, but it was just the way it was back then. You get young guys together, and you know how it is. You got to have the button heads to keep yourself going. Sometimes just to get you to be able to get into character in the ring, especially for heels. Heels love to get in the character earlier and stop pushing it before they get even out there. That way, they're ready when they get out there.
Some of the
Studley
big
Steve
guys.
Stein was big for that, and he was
Oh yeah.
very good at it too. Very good. But
Any
the minute he got out of the ring, he was like back to Steve.
right. Any particular memories of Studley Steve working with him over the years?
The only match I was in, he used to love to tell me to hit him. Whenever we're in a battle royal, he would just come up and say, "Hit me." I say, "Okay, so I'll hit you." And that's about the only contact we ever had in the ring together. We never did a match together. And even when he was in the tag team with Dragonfly, we never did a match together ever. It
Wow.
just never happened. But in a battle royal, he just said, "Hey, hit me, hit me." But like I said, he was the first guy to ever talk to me as when I got to NEWA. He was like really open immediately. Really good guy.
And you mentioned he was there before you, obviously. Was Dragonfly there before you as well, or did he start after you?
No, I'm pretty sure he was there before me. Yeah,
Okay. So they were two of the originals there.
yeah. Dragonfly, Orca, him, Misdemeanor. Those are a lot of the original guys. I mean, the original guys, you're talking months. That's the difference in time period.
Yeah.
Because when I got there, NEWA was not open that long. They might have had 3 shows, and that was about it. So it was still brand new, even when Rocco got involved with it. It was a very young business.
You mentioned the Torture Squad. Any personal memories of Max the Axe, Meaner, Thrash?
Misdemeanor, he's a character, that guy. Him and his chia boots. I used to love his big chia boots. Uh, he hit like hell. I can tell you that. Like I said, some of the biggest brawls we ever had was him and Thrash, and when he hit you, you knew he hit you. Especially when he loved to jump through the second ropes on the outside of the ring,
Yeah.
and there was no missing. He nailed the heck out of you every time too. I know there was one show like Reverend got mad because he had just got a new shirt, and Misdemeanor went up and went boom, ripped the shirt right off the front of him, and Dave was like so upset. It's like, I just had this made. But that's how Misdemeanor was when he got in the character. It was all out, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was all out. Nicest guy in the world, though. Once again, nicest guy in the world.
The referees of the NEWA, of course, Ish Perez, Bob the Ref Costa, and Sean Markey. Any
Yeah, you
memories
can't forget
of those
Sean
guys?
Mackey. Sean Mackey and his eye. We used to love him. We used to tease that poor kid like crazy. And it was a shame because he was a good kid, but we used to tease the heck out of him.
Any
And
personal memories of any other refs?
well, Ish Perez, I worked with him at the hospital many years before we started wrestling because he worked. There was a lot of the guys that used to work at Rhode Island Hospital, and so I had always known Ish before that because I think he was in transport at the time at the hospital, and he actually probably did 95% of my matches in NEWA. I think I had Bob Costa once, maybe I forgot his name again, but twice. But
Sean Markey.
Sean Mackey. It was usually Ish Perez because David always, I mean, we're all friends, so he always requested, and because it was Dave,
Yeah.
he got what ref he wants because he was one of the owners.
Right.
So we always had Ish Perez like 95% of the time.
How about fan interactions? Any fan interactions over the years that stand out? Is there anything that, whether it be a positive or something crazy that happened at a show, or?
Let's see. Fans can get pretty crazy sometimes. The main thing is probably girls, to be honest with you. You'd be surprised at how they act toward you when they're outside of the ring. They can get a little crazy. And that's what me and Dave got into a lot of trouble. But no, the crowd usually behaved themselves. Security was usually on things. I mean, there was arguments between. I mean, you always have people get in your face, think that they can jump in the ring and take you and stuff. I mean, you'll always have that. But I was a baby face most of the time, so I didn't have that problem as much.
When it came to security, any memories of Bodyguard Webb?
Not at all, to be honest with you.
No. Yeah.
Not at all. Because the security guard switched in and out so many times. You never who was going to. Actually, I think the Outlaws, the tag team I was talking about, when they stopped wrestling, I think they were on security for a little while afterwards.
Ah, okay.
So I remember Bulldozer's brother used to be one of the security guards for a while. Stargazer was a security guard for a while. He
Okay.
started off as a security guard before he got into the ring.
Whatever happened to
So,
Stargazer?
no clue. No clue. I know he was brother to my wife's ex-boyfriend. So we knew each other somewhat out of, because I knew the family back then, back when they were all young, because we were just friends. So I knew him through my ex-wife's boyfriend before he ever started wrestling. I think it was actually J.R. Austin that brought him in as well.
Ah, okay. And how about the Comic, another wrestler for NEWA?
Stiff, but I love that guy. He
Whatever
was
happened
stiff.
to him?
Don't know. I haven't seen him in about 20 years. A lot of the guys that left just disappeared. A lot of the ones that you still get contacted with is guys like Wolverine and Alfredo. You hear from Stud and Fly sometimes. But a lot of them middle guys back then, they disappeared. They just disappeared.
Yeah. And how about Bulldozer? How did he get into the business? Was he there after you, before you?
Or at least a year after me. He just showed up one day and he started training. He was a good guy. I did a lot of good matches against him. Caught him off the top rope once, and it was one of the hottest things in my life to ever do. Because he just jumped and just caught him. It's like, oh my God, this hurts. And but he was a good guy. He ended up marrying the manager Hellion.
Yes.
Remember Hellion?
Yep.
They got married. As far as I know, they're still married.
And then obviously a lot of superstars would come in as well from television. So you'd have the opportunity, like we spoke about, Virgil, Tito Santana, Greg Valentine. You'd see these guys behind the scenes. Obviously, Brutus the Barber Beefcake,
Yep.
Jake the Snake Roberts, the Warlord, Captain Louis
Snuka.
Albano, Jimmy Snuka. I remember King Queasy versus King Sleazy
Yeah.
in the little person match. And any personal memories of any conversations or any interactions with any of the superstars?
I remember one of the funny ones I always remember is you remember not Decolation, the Nightmare, when back when they had their big robes on.
Yep.
And they're in the locker room. They come in by with their outfits on, and Greg Valentine's just sitting there. Because Greg always looked like he was always dazing off when he was in the locker room. And next thing you know, he just lifted his head and he went, little Undertakers, and put his head back down. It was like, I started cracking up. It was funny as heck.
Greg the Hammer Valentine,
Greg
one
the
of the
Hammer
greats of
Valentine.
pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah, he was awesome. I have another story of him, but I won't tell that one on here. It'll get me in trouble.
Now, were there any superstars that you ever worked with in the ring, as far from television, or were they usually wrestling each other?
My very last official match, I went against one of my idols, because when I was a kid, my favorite tag team in the world was the Strongbow brothers, Chief J and Jules Strongbow. My very last official match was me and Dreamlord Vinny against Jules Strongbow and Chief J Fox.
Wow.
And that was a great match. It was awesome wrestling him, because that was like my idol team back then. Was the Strongbow brothers. Was like, all right, I'm going to get to wrestle Jules.
And what year was that, your very last match?
I have no clue whatsoever. It was a year, probably 6 months to a year before that Legends Battle Royal you did over at Whole Foods.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because that was my actual last thing I ever did, was that Battle Royal.
Okay.
But it was like 6 months to a year before that was my last match. It was short, just before I left UCW. It was my last match.
Any memories of gorgeous Gino Giovanni?
Kid was a goofball. In a good way. He was just funny. He was like that hyperactive kid that was always running around and you can't stop him, because he was really young when he started. Because when he first started coming around, he was like 14, 15. And it was before he started wrestling. But he was just like that kid, just always running around, always moving. But you go in the locker room, he's one of the first guys to come up and give you a hug. And he was always smiling and happy. He was just one of those general good guys, which is hard to believe with his character that he played,
Right.
that he was like the biggest lovable goofball you'd ever meet in your life.
How about East Coast Intensity, Jose Perez? Any interactions with him over the years?
Oh yeah. I mean, Jose was always there. I mean, so
Yeah.
I mean, he did so many different things. He was really talented. Uh, I know my very first match after our retraining, because halfway through we got a retraining with what was the guy from WWE that came in and trained us? Savannah Souza. He came in as the booker and he took over for a while. And my very first match after the retraining that we did was with Jose and somebody else. It was Fire and Ice against Jose, and it was a great match. It was, I actually think it was the only time I ever got in the ring with Jose was in that match.
Okay.
But he's smooth as silk in the ring. He really is.
Any memories of Savannah Souza?
Uh, he was a little weird. He was a little weird, but he was a good guy. He trained the heck out of us. Uh, I always hated the front chicken wing takedown. He made us do that every night, and it was you want to move that hurts half the time with that front chicken wing takedown. I remember Steve Dreamkeeper. He landed right on his face one night, and his whole face was cut up from here down, just because he face planted right in the middle of it. And but yeah, he was hot. He just worked us and worked us and worked us. But he brought us to the next level we needed to be at, because he taught us things that we just wasn't aware of to do, and how to do it, and how to get things along.
And Steve Dreamkeeper, is that Darius?
Yeah, it's Darius.
Okay, that's what I thought. Same guy.
Yeah, Dreamkeeper Darius is the same guy. I knew him way before wrestling as well, because I brought him in Dream Vinny in at the same time. Uh, he was my neighbor across the street. He was married to a friend of ours since I knew since I was a little kid. So I had always known Steve too. A lot of us all grew up together. A lot of a small group of guys that were in wrestling. Me, Vinny, Steve, Sonny. We're all
And how
part
did
of
that
a.
start initially with with Steve being your partner?
Well, it was at the very beginning of UCW, and I was always a tag wrestler. I never saw myself as a single wrestler. I liked tag wrestling, and at the time when we were starting UCW, we felt we needed some more talented single wrestlers to fill out the roster. So that's when we decided, Sonny is ready to be a singles wrestler. He has the charisma, he has the talent. Vinny definitely had the talent and the charisma to be a single wrestler. It's like, well, you know what? Let's get these guys. Let's get these guys out into single wrestling, where they could be more useful, go to the next step, and me and Steve will just join up and fill the tag team ranks. Because me and Steve were just more tag team wrestlers. It's just what we are. Vinny and Sonny could make it as big single wrestlers. So it was just a kind of an executive decision to do that. That way we filled out the roster with some of our more flamboyant talent compared to the strong, slow moving big guy wrestlers.
Right. And
So
from your
that was
point of view, where did that whole transition, how did that come about where you guys decided to essentially leave the NEWA, or NEWA would end up closing its doors and then you open up UCW? Why did that all go down?
well, originally wasn't supposed to be. We weren't originally supposed to leave NWA. We were supposed to stay at the same time. We were going to wrestle in both. Uh, the guys just got together one night and backstage in a show. It's like we've been having this idea about. It was actually starting out as a faction inside of NEWA. It was going to call UCW, where a bunch of guys, you know how they get together, do a group, cause a lot of trouble. It started off as one of those. It was me, Sonny, Dream Creeper, Dream Lord. I think Wolverine was in the original group too. And Anthony came, I think, afterwards. I don't remember. He might have been a part of the original faction. And then one night of show, we just did it. And the audience went crazy. It was awesome. We're all out there acting like heels, attacking NEWA guys. Ended up into a big brawl, and somehow it just ended up splitting off. That we talked as like, you know what, we should do our own shows at the same time. So the bunch of us got together, and we got together with Anthony, and we decided, hey, let's give it a go.
And whenever I
We
think of
all,
UCW, I think of Anthony as the figurehead, but behind the scenes, was it just Anthony or who was actually running it other
where
than
at
it?
UCW?
Yeah.
Well, everybody had their jobs. Anthony and Sonny, they were the bookers. I was more in a promotional capacity. I was booking a lot of the shows. They were booking the wrestlers because I had a connection. I got all the college shows and high school shows and stuff. That was all my stuff because I had a lot of connections at the time with a lot of. Because I've always been involved with a lot of organizations in Rhode Island and New England, and so I was able to get like a couple of high schools that were doing shows like Bristol High School. We did for a nonprofit. The one out in Dartmouth was actually for another high school, and Meeting Street School, and those are all my bookings. So I was more of a on the promotion side, where Anthony and Sonny were the bookers of the show. They took care of all the talent and all that stuff, and then Vinny and Steve did a lot of the street work, a lot of the advertising, a lot of the pushing and stuff like that. So everybody had their different jobs.
And, when I started my Cox Cable talk show, it was
Yep,
Joe's Professional Wrestling Talk Show. And I started it in, I want to say May of 98.
yep,
And I was looking for, obviously talent to be in studio on the show that I could interview. And I remember going to UCW at the East Providence Country Day.
yep. That was
And that was,
the Meeting Street School.
yeah, okay. And was that your first show or second show?
That was our first show.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was the very
Yeah,
first
that was
one.
our very first independent show.
Okay, yeah, and I remember
Was
the Power
Meeting
Company
Street.
twins were there, and
Yep,
who else? With El Diablo, obviously Tiny the Terrible and Half Nelson, and Livewire Dave Padula.
yep.
Um,
I
yeah, there were
think
a lot.
Brickhouse Baker was there too, and
You're right, Brickhouse Baker. Yep,
a couple of guys from Coastal Wrestling.
yeah,
They
and that
they
was
went back and forth between the two.
that was a great show. And I remember, I was there as a fan. I had started my show, but I didn't officially get it off the ground yet.
Yeah,
And I was front row for that show, and I remember seeing a flyer on the outer door, and it had your name and phone number. So it said
yep.
contact Stacey Lopes. And I said, okay, let me, and I didn't realize that obviously, you were Inferno. I saw the name Stacey Lopes, and I'm like, okay. So, that's when I had contacted you, and you were, very influential in getting me talent for my in studio show. So I have always
It was a good
appreciated
show. You
that.
did a very good job with it. And
Thank you.
I mean, you're a big reason why independent wrestling is the way it is in New England now. I mean, who would have known when you started that show that you were going to be the Joe Bruen? You know what I mean? And that's what you became. You've done it all now. I mean, you've kept it alive. Yeah, I don't know how much credit you get for it, but you've done a lot, man. You're very important to this business. Very, very important.
I appreciate that, Stacey. And, I just appreciate you getting all those guests. I remember you would ask me, well, who are you looking for? And I'd give you a few names and, all right, let me see if they're available. And I remember the very first debut episode, it was yourself and Darius Decolation, along with your manager, Butch
Butch
Petrillo.
Petrulo,
And
yep,
then you had Bad Boy Billy Black and Anthony Rufo and Iceberg on the same show.
yep,
So it was a great show, and I was thrilled with it. And then the second show, you also helped me book some talent, which we
yep,
got Maxiax Meaner, we got the Reverend, we got Thrash,
yep.
and we also got Max Brannigan as well. And yeah, so those first two shows for me were very exciting. I was new to the business and just getting involved. And from there, you guys invited me to come down and bring the camera equipment and do the backstage interviews. So the first time that I ever did that at any show was for UCW, and that was at the UMass Dartmouth show.
Yep, that was a UMass show. Bundy was there, I think, was at that one.
Yeah, and Bundy and
Bundy,
Samu.
two, and Sika.
Yeah, and they were nice enough to cut promos for my show. Bundy and Samu both did. I did some interviews that night with Max the Axe, and I remember Dr. Heresy, Ebony Blade, Derek Destiny, Iceberg, and then Tiny the Terrible. And that was the night that Tiny the Terrible gave me my name for a little while. I was known as Hardcore Joe. Everybody kind of knew me
Hardcore Joe. I haven't
as
heard that in a
Hardcore
long
Joe.
time.
And Tiny the Terrible was like just kind of came out with it out of nowhere, and he's cutting a promo. He's like, "What the hell are you doing here, Hardcore Joe?" And I was like, "Oh, that sounds pretty good, actually." And this was before Hardcore Holly, so I was
Yeah, it was. They
I was
stole
like,
your
okay,
name.
yeah, exactly, right. So that's where Hardcore Joe came about. But all great memories from that Dartmouth show, and that was the first show. That's the one that kicked it off for me as far as doing backstage interviews. And I would
Yeah,
go on to so many different promotions doing the backstage interviews, and
you did a
eventually
really good
making it
job.
to the Super Eights in Delaware and doing the interviews there. So it was a lot of fun. But for me, it all started with UCW as far as being in the business, but starting with NEWA as a fan. Making that transition from NEWA to UCW, what was it like? Was it seamless for you guys? Was it kind of
Uh,
difficult to build up a
Emotionally, it
crowd?
was a little tough because, especially for me, I'm a very big loyalist. So when I'm with somebody, like when I'm with Rocco, I am loyal to the end of the. You know what I mean? I don't like to leave. I like to stay. So it was a little hard at first getting used to the difference, but everybody having their different jobs and stuff, we just did what we had to do and got it done. It
Who
was a
broke
little
the
weird
news
at
to
first.
Rocco?
I don't think anybody did. I think it just happened.
Just
It
organically happened.
wasn't. It wasn't like any time at that point where we had to sit down and say, "Hey, Rocco, this is what we're doing." It just kind of split off automatically on its own without anybody actually saying anything.
And once it did happen, what was Rocco's feedback?
Uh, I don't think he was happy with it, but he didn't hold it against anybody. It wasn't like there wasn't any fighting or arguing or anything like that. It's just at the beginning. At beginning, I think there was a point where it was like, okay, you could either wrestle with one or the other. You weren't permitted to wrestle for both. But that was a very short lived before he let that up. And other than that, was it. It was
So
pretty seamless.
UCW started in 1998. Was that the final year for NEWA, or did they continue on? I can't
No,
remember.
I think they came on and off for a couple of years afterwards.
Okay.
Because as Rocco got older, it was a little bit harder for him to run it. And Rock Joseph, I know he was running for government office at a point, so I don't think he was active as he could have been. So it just kind of faded out.
And we had some big guys in the NEWA for a while there. Obviously, you mentioned Bulldozer, Orca the Whale,
Yep.
Judge Grable,
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Judge
That's
Grable,
a
and
name I haven't heard in a long time.
the party man Juan King.
Yep. Juan King. He was a good guy.
You also had the Headhunters.
Yep. The
What are your
headhunter.
memories of some of those big guys?
They were all pretty good guys. I mean, I tend to find the bigger they are, the more teddy bears they are. It's kind of like a grizzly bear situation where they're, oh my god, they're big and they're mean, and there's like you get in the back and they're hugging you,
Yeah.
and they like to hug a lot. And I mean the headbanger guy, I forgot, the head shrinkers, was that their name?
The Head Shrinkers. No, the Headhunters.
Headhunters,
Right.
headhunters. Uh, they were good guys. They were street guys, you know what I mean? So you talk to them, they're total street guys, but the nicest guys you'll ever meet in the world.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we ever wrestled them. Don't remember.
And Orca the
That's,
Whale. Where did that gimmick come from? Where did he come from?
he just he was already there when I got there, but he had just showed up one day and said when he was doing his character, I guess he started training first and he did his character and showed up with the outfit one day and says, "This is me." And it's like everybody laughed their ass off, but he stuck with it. Even when people teased him and busted his butt about it, he did not relent and he did it.
Yeah.
People loved that character. I mean, he was very popular. The kids loved it. I mean, it was
Yeah.
Orca. It was crazy the outfit he came up with, though. I mean, he literally looked like a whale. It was just, it was, he was funny.
I remember
He
being there
stuck
as a
with it, though.
fan for Federal Hill, Judge Grable was on the show, and that was the only time I had ever seen him. I've never saw him again after that. Was he around very long?
Very short amount of time. Very,
Okay.
very, very short amount of time.
Do you know anything about him, where he came from, how he started?
No, he was one of the guys that just came in. We started training him, and he was gone quicker than he came. You get a lot of guys like that. I mean, heck, even Spike Dudley came in our door once for training.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was actually turned down. Spike Dudley came to NEWA before he was a wrestler, and Rocco turned him down because he was too small. And then he
Oh,
went to ECW and became Spike Dudley. It's like, oh my goodness.
proves everybody wrong, right?
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah. Another Rhode Island native.
Yep.
Now, how's it been living out you're in Florida, right?
Oh, I'm in Florida. I love it down here.
Yeah. When did you make that transition from Rhode Island to Florida? It's been a while now.
About 12 years ago. It was after the big blizzard. Remember the big blizzard we had about 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
And when all the power was out for about 5 days. And
Yeah.
we just said we had all six. Well, we had 4 kids at the time. Well, 3 or 4, 3 kids, 3 or 4. I don't know. I had a bunch of kids at the time. And sitting in the bed, everybody under the blankets, we said, that's it. We're out of here. And we just packed up 6 months later and we're here.
Wow.
It was the best thing I ever did. I love it down here. You meet a lot of guys down here in the business, by the way. When I'm shopping all the time, I go to Walmart food shopping and I end up speaking with LA Knight for half an hour, or Santos Escobar. Or, I think 2 weeks ago I saw Thea Hale and her boyfriend at Target, and Butch at a Publix in the parking lot. You meet these guys all the time because
Wow.
where I live, NXT is literally 15 minutes up the road, the training center, in the where they do the shows. So I used to go to NXT all the time. I mean, if you go back and watch some of the NXT from 5 years ago, I'm sitting right in the front row. You can't miss me.
Yeah.
And so you do down here in Florida, you get to meet guys like that all the time.
And they're all pretty accommodating.
Oh, they're nice. It's like talking to your best friend you knew for years. It's like you just start gabbing and that's it.
Wow.
Once they know you're in the business, they open right up.
And who have you kept in touch with over the years since you've retired?
Well, obviously, Sonny. I talked to Sonny. We just went on a cruise together about a year ago. Obviously, Vinny, because he's my brother-in-law still. I've been getting a lot of calls lately, believe it or not. Every once in a while, like when the guys up there in Rhode Island get together with Sonny, Sonny calls me, and it's like a whole train of people just start getting on the thing and talking to me, and it's like Wolverine and the guy that runs the museum, Donnie, I think his name is. I forget. But I'm always getting random phone calls from Sonny with different guys to talk to. So
Wow. Yeah, the business is, do you ever get the urge? Do you ever think, oh man, I'd love to do it one more time? Or are you content?
yes,
Yeah.
I have been bugging for a while. I want one more time. I want me and Sonny to get in their ring with Wolvie and Alfredo. That's all I want because we never wrestled each other. Fire and Ice never wrestled them.
Oh,
And I just one time get in the ring with them, but my wife keeps saying there's not a chance in heck you're getting in the ring.
any memories of Wolverine and Alfredo over the years?
Well, we and Wolverine had tag team titles together. He was a hoot, Wolverine. He was always thinking of the next thing, and he was great to work with. Great to work with. A lot of matches against him, a lot of matches with him, and he was a really good guy. He was a really good guy.
And was there a figurehead in the locker room for NEWA that was kind of considered like the go-to person or the leader of the locker room?
Chain
Chain
was the man. He was the man. Everybody loved Chain. Everybody went to Chain. He was the number one dude, no matter what. Always was. You need something, go to Chain. There's a problem, go to Chain. And he'll take care of it. He was really good.
So Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Let's talk about Mount Rushmore. Who are your 4 favorites? Chiming in your inner fan.
Mine are going to be really old school guys.
Any era is fine.
It's going to be Hogan, Savage, Andre, Flair.
Nice.
Has to be the 4 main older guys.
Did you ever get to meet any of them?
No. even though Hogan has a store like a half an hour from my store, I'm going to his store, but I always miss him by that much every time I go there.
Oh man.
But no, I never got to meet any of them. I mean, I know a lot of like there's a lot of guys on here that used to work with his handler, the little guy he used to do all the work for Andre. I
Oh,
was
Tim
running
White.
into him every once in a while, and actually I think that was still in Rhode Island. But no, I
Oh,
never got to
Tim
meet any
White.
of them before. Yeah, but yeah, I never got to meet any of them before. I would have loved to, but didn't get to.
Did you
It
ever
was a
get to
shame.
the Friendly Tap, Tim's bar?
No, I don't think I ever did. My
No.
first wife wouldn't let me go to bars.
Ah.
Well, that she knew about me and Shane went other places, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a legendary spot in Rhode Island for a
yeah,
long,
it was.
long
Yeah, it
time.
was.
Any memories of Double A, Antonio Adams?
Double A Antonio Adams.
He eventually became Kevin Charisma, Hugo.
Yeah. He was a sweet kid if I remember correctly. He's another one like there's certain guys that you can go in the locker room and they're always happy, always smiling, always the first ones to say hi to you. Antonio was one of them. Derek Destiny was big for that. Uh Gino. I mean, those are the guys that you walk in the locker room, they're the first ones to run up to you, say hi, and then they get in their character and they're like totally different people.
Yeah. Did
They're
you ever
very
work against Eric in the ring?
Derek Destiny,
Yeah.
your battle royal.
Okay. You got to
Your
lock up
battle
with him
royal.
there.
Because I remember I got yelled at online because I was on the ropes and I was on Derek's back doing his thing and the thing, and I guess his grandmother, his mother went on there. It's like, who's that guy beating up my nephew or whatever she said. And it was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Let's go back to that day. That was 2010, I believe. And that
Yep,
was the Whole Foods Market block party. And that was
yep,
obviously, I used to run spot shows from 1999 until 2001 under the HWF banner. Hardcore Wrestling Federation eventually became the Heat Wave Wrestling
yep.
Federation. And did that return show 2010, another return show in 2011, did that Legends Battle Royal. Take us back to that day, what it was like kind of seeing everybody again for the first time in a long time.
The locker room was a little weird because at
Yeah.
the Pioneers, there was also a lot of guys I didn't know, a lot of new guys. And a lot of guys didn't know exactly who I was. I didn't look the same at the time. I mean, I had big facial hair and I was twice the size as I was. And so a lot of guys didn't recognize me except for like Matt West and guys like that were there. But it was the first time my kids ever got to see me in the ring because my three kids, I only had three at the time, they got to go to their first show there that day because they never got to see me wrestle.
Wow.
So, but all the guys were nice. It was good. It was weird. You get in the ring with some of the guys that you never worked with before, and they get a little hesitant when they look at you. It's like, I don't know you. What do I do? And then you just got to hit them and let them know they're going to survive, and you move on.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
the
that was a good show.
HWF.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was nice to kind of get the different eras together, a lot of people from
Yeah.
different eras, so, always good memories. So NEWA, going back to, early on in your career, who were some of the others that were kind of just, easygoing and kind of guiding you, helping you through?
Oh, you guys. I mean, they were all pretty good. Misdemeanor and Thrash were one of the early guys. They usually help people a lot. Uh, Studley was on and off here and there. Orca was usually hanging around in the corner somewhere. Jane was always a big one, though. Knight Rider did a lot of the individual training when I first started there. Uh, Dragonfly was always a nice guy. He was always there. You'd be on the outside. He'd jump in the ring. It's like, don't do that way. Do it like this. And then he'd jump back out of the ring and run away. And but a lot of the guys, they used to like at the end of the night, they used to like at training, we just get in the ring and then everybody just freestyle for about an hour after we're done doing the training and the exercises and all that. And you'd have all in one ring. You could have like Studley and Dragonfly and all these guys that you don't normally get to work with, and you just do freestyle for an hour. And as like 8-10 man tag teams, and just sit there and go at it for an hour. It was a lot of fun.
Any memories of Bad News?
Bad news. He was an interesting dude. Uh, I mean, he was fun loving. He was a good guy. I never hung out with him or anything. But he was one of those guys that used to love up and come up behind you, just put his arm around you, and just sit there for a few minutes, and then just walk away. But he was a good guy. I liked him a lot.
How about
I don't
Pierre
think
the
I have.
Mountain?
Mm, mm, mm. These are the ones that can get me in trouble. My wife said, "Don't say anything bad about anybody." uh, he was Pierre the Mountie. He was a Mountie. That's who he was. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he was one of those ones.
So 3 matches, if you could pick them out, your entire career, top 3, who would they be?
Thrash a misdemeanor. That was me. Me and Dave against Thrash and Misdemeanor. Me and Vinny against Jules and Chief Fox. Oh boy. Probably Fire and Ice against Nightmare.
Nice.
Those are the ones I remember. I don't remember a lot other than that.
Was there ever somebody that you really wanted to work with or you were hoping to work with, but it just never happened because schedule wise or somebody left the company or whatever it may
Studley
be?
Steve. I always wanted to get in the ring with Studley Steve, but never happened.
Hmm.
Never happened because he stayed in the singles rounds much, and he was out of the tag team ranks by the time I started in the tag team ranks. Because him and Thrash were the original Torture Squad before it was Thrash and Misdemeanor. And yeah, we never ended up in a match. I always wanted to wrestle him. Always wanted to wrestle him. Never got to.
How about Bad Boy Billy Black? Any memories of Bad Boy?
Bad boy Billy Black broke my nose 3 weeks in a row.
Oh my gosh.
We were doing matches. I forgot where it was, but we had 3 weeks in a row. We did a show in the same spot, and I think it was me and Vinny against Thrash. And I can't remember his partner at the time, but 3 weeks in a row doing the same spot, There's a basic clothesline coming off, cutting me in the bridge of the nose, or breaking my nose 3 weeks in a row.
Oh my gosh.
And I used to tease him about that. It was the same spot every time. We don't know why it happened. It just, some reason, it just caught off guard, and I got nailed in the nose every time.
And you
First
were
time, there was blood all over the place. Second time, not as much. Third time, it just went crooked.
the first time that went to well, this was probably yeah, I guess early on in NEWA. You said you started in what, 90, 91?
Yeah, somewhere in that general area.
Okay, so around that time, how big was the roster? Being a new company or relatively new company, how many
Maybe
guys?
20 guys.
Okay,
Maybe 20. There was not a lot of guys, and there was a lot of new guys because a lot of guys came in all at the same time. I mean, the main card was you had this guy Shredder, who was actually a priest, who was wrestling. It was kind of funny. You had Padre, you had Chain, Orca, Knight Rider. You had Donnie. Yeah, it was about 20 guys, enough to fill a normal battle royal. And that was a whole roster.
hmm.
You had Tiger Shock. That's a name from back in the old days. Yeah, there was about 20 guys to fill up the whole roster. And then probably within 5 months, another 10 guys started. And then after that, another year or so, you double it again and to another 10 guys. That's around the time period we started getting guys like Anthony and Jose. Was about 2 years into my career when those guys like Anthony and Jose, maybe 3 years, when those guys started showing up.
And obviously Anthony started as Dambula, and
Yep.
he would
Then
go on
Marvin the
to
Maniac.
yep, Marvin the Maniac, and obviously with UCW as Mr. Troubleman.
Yep.
Well, we lost Anthony unfortunately too soon. What are your personal memories of Anthony over the years?
I loved Anthony. He was a good guy. I mean, we had our moments, me and Anthony, where we'd argue, but then we'd mainly back in the UCW, days, trying to figure out direction. But when we see each other, we would always give each other a hug, and then it was like any argument we ever had just went away. It didn't matter. You know how guys just argue, and then you forget about it. But he was that good of a guy. He was another one of those guys that would literally give you the shirt off his back if he needed it. If you needed him for anything, he would be right there. And I missed the hell out of him. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
He
So
was a big. He was
Oh,
a big reason UCW lasted as long as it did.
yeah, he definitely seemed like he was the heart and soul,
Yeah,
behind.
he kept it pushing after everybody left. So
So for Anthony Rufo, he was very influential with training as well. He would go on to train people here
Yep.
in the New England scene. So he was around for a long time, and UCW kind of went away for a little while. Then he actually brought it back as
Yep.
Ultimate Championship Wrestling for a little while there. Changed it from Unified to Ultimate.
Yeah.
And I was still ring announcing for them at the time. And yeah, first promotion I ever ring announced for was also UCW. And it happened by mistake. I think Iceberg might have been the scheduled ring announcer that night. It was at the Barton Street Community Center.
Yep. Barton Street.
And the ring announcer couldn't make it. So they asked me, since I was up there filming the show anyway, if I'd be interested in giving it a shot. And ring announcing, I never thought about it because I didn't know how to get into it. But it was always something I wanted to do, and I always looked up to Howard Finkel.
Yep.
So I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. But then I find out that not only did the ring announcer not show up, but he was also the sound guy. So I have no microphone.
Problems like that happened a lot.
Yeah. And luckily it was the Barton Street Community Center. So it
Yes,
echoed.
yes.
It was a very small place. And I made my debut there. But yeah, that's where it all started for me was UCW. And
That's awesome. I'm glad we were there to help you, man.
got
And
to
look
do
where you
some,
went with it. I mean, it's amazing.
yeah, I got to ring announce all over the place and do all kinds of things. And it's been a wonderful time in the wrestling business for sure. No regrets.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask you, what was your favorite time in the business if you had to choose one era that you were a part of? NEWA, UCW, something in the middle?
Probably something in the middle. I mean, there was always high pots, always low pots. I mean, I had a lot of good partners over the years, so I was always very lucky that way because I started off with Knight Rider, then me and Chain, then me and Wolvie, then me and Sonny, then me and Steve, and then me and the guy that likes to take hammers today, Gino Martino, because he took over for Steve when Steve retired. And so I had high points and low points in all of them. I mean, probably earlier NEWA days was probably my favorite because the early NEWA, when it started off big, there was a big fan base. And we're on every Saturday night, and we, like me and Vinny, would go to the store shopping, and next thing you know, we have people coming up for autographs and stuff. So that was probably the bigger time for us, where it was because we're out there in the public, and people were like, "Hey, we know you guys."
Yeah, I still have a piece of paper to this day, my first independent show, NEWA, and it's autographed by probably 15 people. But I remember Anthony's on there as Dan Bula and Studley Steve, and even Bob Costa, the referee, signed it. And
oh wow, yeah, never get rid of that one.
No, it was cool. It was definitely something I've kept, to this day. And we got a picture with Virgil that day with my buddy.
Yep.
And it was just nice. It was good memories. That's where it all started for me. So, any memories of Rex Havoc?
Actually, Rex Havoc is an awesome dude. He was actually my lawyer a couple of times with my first wife, and he got me out of. He helped me out a few times with my first wife with my divorce and things like that. Him and Rocco called him and said, and Rex came down and he took care of me. He was awesome. That was the other thing about good NEWA guys. You guys had guys like Rex and Rock that were like step up and right there and help you with anything you need. And he was funny though. He was awesome on the mic. And he would cut you down when you're in the ring if you're a face, and he would cut you down like crazy. And then he goes back in the back room and is like, I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, when it comes
and it's weird because him without the mask on, you would never recognize him in a million years. You would not recognize him because the mask does not make his face look like the way he looks. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's funny, Rex, as a fan, for me, I remember Rex would leave the shows with his mask on, and he would drive away with his mask on. He would pull up to the show with his mask on. So he was always so mysterious.
Going at all times.
Yeah, as a kid, I was like, man, who is that guy? I want to know who's under that mask. Fast forward, 20, 30 years, and I'm at I put together this dinner. This was probably a year ago, and brought some of the old guys in from that time period. So Dana Camo was there, and Alfredo and Iceberg and Rex Havoc and Thrash, and we had it. It was at a Chinese buffet, and I'm waiting for Rex Havoc, and he walks in and he's got his mask on in the restaurant, and I'm like,
Really?
I am never going to see this guy. This is and it's just so funny. But then he ended up taking it off, when it was time to eat. But I
And if
just
he had walked in without that mask on, you probably never would have recognized it was him.
well, that's the thing, yeah. And he came in with his original mask, which I think he said was from 1988. It was
Oh,
an
wow.
old school mask, and but yeah, he's a great guy. He really is.
He is. I
So
love Rex.
two-sided
He was
question
great
there.
on the mic.
He really was. Nobody did it like him in NEWA, that's for sure. Two-sided question: NEWA and UCW. When it comes to the number of shows that you're doing per year, I'd say NEWA when it was at its hottest, and UCW when it was at its busiest season. How many shows were you roughly doing a year per promotion? If you had to guess.
NEWA was probably a lot more. Anywhere between 20 and maybe 24 shows NEWA did a year, varying throughout the year. I mean, he'd have a show every other week. Or at least once a month he'd have a show, but sometimes you like have 4 weeks in a row and then you have 3 weeks off and then you have a show. UCW, until we started doing Barton Street every week, we had it's different style of shows, so you're talking about good to 20 to 24 shows a year, depending on how it went.
And were there some other promotions that you would go on to work for briefly during that time with NEWA or travel to or anything?
With NEWA, I hung around Power League a little bit. I don't know if I actually did anything with them. Coastal, we did when we were with UCW. We did some stuff with Coastal Wrestling. Tony Rumble, I knew. I think I did something with him once. But yeah, it was about it.
And what was your biggest takeaway from your experience with Walter Kowalski? Just conversations, and what was your biggest takeaway meeting him?
Probably professionalism. You wouldn't think by looking at him or talking at him, but he just knew the business. You know what I mean? And back then, the business was much different than it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, your position was your position. You did what you were told, and that was it. There was no ifs, ands about it. You're told to do something, you do it. That's the way it is. If you don't want to work anymore, don't do what you're not supposed to do.
Right.
And he just exuded professionalism. And it's like just talking to him, you just knew the amount of knowledge in that guy's head was just like, wow, amazing. Just talking to him, you could learn stuff.
Now, being in that battle royal at the block party, what did that feel like afterwards? You get out of the ring, you go to the back. You hadn't wrestled in a while. What did it feel like being back in there for another match?
Very nostalgic. I wanted to go back but I wasn't in shape for it. I was starting to get older, and my health was starting to fail before my health really failed. I wanted to do it again, really badly. I wanted to do it again, but I had just realized, I got to start working out and start doing stuff before I could even think about it. And then with all the kids, I just never ended up doing it again. Yeah. I wanted to, but then I got really sick, like around the time when you had 2014 and stuff.
Yeah.
Because when I was really unhealthy, I was shortly after I had my second cancer. And so I never got a chance to go back in. I always wanted to. At least for one more time, I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Just to feel inside that ring in front of people, acting a fool. It was just best times of your life, man.
What would you say is your number one moment in your entire career if you had to choose one?
My number one moment, I would have to say, it's a weird moment. We did this promo session and people still talk to me about it this day. We did this promo session at Emerald Square Mall. Remember that mall?
Yeah.
And somebody put a chain around my neck, and I started running around the mall acting like a gorilla, passing out individual M&Ms to every person I saw. And that started the next level of Dane, when Dane, the crazy character, came out, because he had a split personality, and that one of them was a gorilla. And so I was just running around the mall. I had security guards following me to make sure nothing happened. I'm just going around person to person, giving individual M&Ms to. It was probably the most fun I ever had in my life.
That's funny. So you talk about Dane, obviously Dane and Darius. You become Decolation in 1998 for UCW in its early stages there. Superstar Butch Petrillo is your manager. How does that come about? How does, because up to that point, I don't remember Butch ever being in this area. You know, he said he came from Tony Santos Enterprises, Jack
Yep.
Witchies. But why don't you give us some history that you know of the late superstar Butch Petrillo, how he became your manager and how he entered UCW?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know him before he became my manager.
Okay.
I did not know him. He just showed up one day. He knew Anthony, and it was just decided, okay, you're going to manage them. It was like, okay, and that's how it happened. I mean, literally, your interview was probably week one with him
Okay.
as our manager, and I barely knew him at the time. I mean, we
What
got
was,
to know each other over time, and he was a good guy. Little stubborn, but he was a very good guy.
what was he like behind the scenes with, you know, just your conversations over the years? And
He was loud, but in a good way. You know, one of those guys that always want to be heard against everybody else.
yeah.
You could hear him across the locker room, but he was funny whenever he was a good man. He
Yeah,
just always he was. You could hear him no matter where he was. He was always performing. There you go. That's what
yeah.
he was. He was always performing who he was.
The switch was always on.
Oh, switch was always on.
Yeah.
Always loud, always going right at you. He was funny as heck that way.
Yeah, he was very entertaining, and he actually came back at that same block party that you participated in, came out of retirement, and he was managing at ringside.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he showed up. I think if I remember correctly, he contacted me via email because he heard about the show and how some of the old guys were coming back,
Yep.
and he wanted to be a part of it. And, you know, he came and he was a manager for one match, I believe. And I think he just stood outside for the Battle Royal and kind of just watched the action. But yeah, that would be his out of retirement appearance. And then his last appearance, he wouldn't do anything after that. And unfortunately,
I
became
wish
ill.
I could remember seeing him then. That'd be nice to remember. But
Yeah,
at my old age, you tend to forget things.
right, right. Any memories of Joel Davis, the real deal Joel Davis?
I talked to him a few times. Never got to work with him, but I mean, we knew who each other was. We had a lot of pleasant conversations. Nothing out of the ordinary. It wasn't like anything major. Just conversations. He was a good dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know him very well, but it was just like always passing conversations.
And Punisher Don Vega, another one I believe started in NEWA in his early stages.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
memories of Don Vega?
Uh, his father.
Julio.
His father was always around. His father was dedicated to his son.
Yeah.
And actually, is Don? Is he still wrestling?
He is. Yeah. He actually works for Showcase Pro Wrestling with Chris Blackheart.
Oh wow.
So they have a
Yeah, I
wrestling
thought I
school
keep
there. I
seeing
mean,
pictures of him showing up. I think he was one of the guys I talked to on the phone with Sonny one night
yeah.
when Sonny called me. But yeah, I mean, we never hung out together, but we always talked. We always had pleasantries, especially with his father. He was one of those guys that always came in and said hi to everybody right away. Never had a big attitude or anything. He was always kind of mundane. He was always like, "Okay, I'm there doing a job. I'm leaving."
Yep.
That kind of a guy.
Very
He was
mellow,
never
nice guy.
very mellow, never outrageous. He was just like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm doing a job. I'm going home."
Yep. Yeah. His dad was so nice. His dad passed away, unfortunately, not too long ago,
Yeah, that's
a
sad.
few
His
years back.
father was a good man.
He really was. And
So
he,
dedicated to his son, though. That was the biggest thing, was a relationship. Them two were so close. And
yeah,
no matter what his son did, his father was there for him. which
treated
is
everybody
really
with
good.
respect and
Yep,
recorded all of his son's matches and
yep. He
was
was
there
his
to
son's
help.
biggest fan.
Yeah. A very good guy. Julio is definitely missed, in the New England scene because you saw him at every show, it seemed like.
Yeah, he was always there, no matter what.
Yeah.
Always there.
So fast forward many years from now, looking back at your career, in closing, what is your legacy? How do you want to be remembered?
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure. You know, I got to say, I've had an amazing life inside of wrestling, outside of wrestling. A lot of these guys that I wrestle with, I mean, I don't know how much you know about. A lot of us did a lot of things together, like Matt West, Kid Liberty, Vinny. We've been in rock bands together. We've owned softball teams together. We've played indoor football together. Uh, so a lot of these guys have been so intertwined that we've done so much together over the years that it's hard to just, I don't know, just kind of just want to be remembered.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing, like we have the Hall of Fames now that actually remember the guys that were on the street. You know what I mean? Doing all the work back then,
Right.
and it's good things. At least we know our legacies are going to go on, and I just want to be remembered as not too much of a jerk because I always had a big mouth. I said what I felt. That's just the way it was. I was me, and but that's about it.
And what advice do you have for somebody that's looking to get into the business now?
Unless you want to do it 100%, don't do it. Be sure. That's my thing. Because I had even a couple of my kids at one point wanted to get into business. And I told them, if you want to do it, that's fine. But be sure. It's the hardest thing you've ever going to do. And you're not going to make a lot of money doing it. It's just, you got to love it to want to do it. And that's the key. You got to love it. You can't go in it because you want to be rich. You can't go in it because you want to be famous. Do it because you love it. Because it's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. That's 95% of what you're going to remember. Is the pain and the hurt. You get 10 pains for one moment of glory. And that's the way it is. So you got to love it if you want to do it. Don't go in and do it halfway. Just do it and love it. And don't expect anything out of it.
And are your
Because a lot
kids
of
wrestling
times you
fans?
won't get anything. What was that?
Your kids, are they wrestling fans now?
Uh, my daughter is. One of my daughters is. She likes WWF. The rest of them don't care anymore.
Yeah. They've moved
They're
on.
mostly all musicians and stuff. And I have a grandson. One of my little grandsons love wrestling now.
And do you follow the product currently?
Oh yeah, like crazy.
Are you
I
more of a
can't help it.
WWE guy, AEW?
Uh, Probably more WWE. I watch a little bit of AEW. I don't like AEW as much. It seems to me, it seems like a lot of the same stuff that's already been done. But I like them both. I mean, I was just watching TNA a little bit last night because my favorite tag team is back, the Righteous, and they were on. They've been on for the last 2 weeks again with the Hardy Boys.
Hmm.
But yeah, probably WWE is my mainly what I watch. That's my big thing.
And who are some of your favorites on that roster?
Cody Rhodes is a man. Randy Orton, I mean, the guy's a beast.
Yeah.
And LA Knight, I love LA Knight. I'm a big LA Knight fan.
Yeah. And he was nice
So
in person, you said, right?
yeah, he was. But I was a big fan of his beforehand because I used to go watch him at NXT before he started on the main card. And he was just amazing there. He was amazing.
Yeah.
And because I was at all the shows when he remember the tournament they did with the $1 Million Man, and he won the $1 Million belt. I was
That's
live
right.
for all those shows, and
Oh, wow.
it was really good, really really good.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize he's been around a long time. Even before that, he was in TNA.
Oh yeah, he was in
He would
TNA,
do
and
that dummy gimmick, dummy,
yep,
yeah, And then before that, he was managed by Percy Pringle, uh,
yep,
Paul Bearer as well. So I mean, he's been doing this a long time.
yeah, he has, and it took him a long time to get where he is, and even at his age to be able to become what he is now is amazing.
Yeah,
Because I mean, he's one of the older guys starting out where he started in WWE, and but he's earned every inch he's gotten.
and I guess age doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as you have the dedication
That's
and
it. Yeah.
the will
I
to
mean, it
do it.
can make it a little bit harder sometimes because when
Oh,
you
sure.
have the age like WWE, they'll look at you as like if you're starting out at that advanced age,
Yeah,
they kind of won't give you the push. But he made them give him the push, which is good.
that's the thing. He made him. Yeah, there's a lot of people that will still age is just a number. Look at Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I
That
think
guy's amazing.
he
What
started
he
his
does for
career when he was like
everybody is
38 or 39.
he's just amazing.
Yeah,
He's a good man. What he does for people is just amazing.
yeah. Well, Stacey, thank you so much. It's been great catching up, and appreciate you
Oh,
taking the
definitely, my
time
friend.
today.
It was good to hear from you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back in time for a little while. So it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, now I'm going to be thinking about this all day long.
Oh, I
Oh, I did
apologize.
this and I did this and oh wow, I missed that and I missed that. I might have to call Vinny now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, it was great catching up. For Stacey Lopes, I'm Joseph Bruen, and this has been the All Access Entertainment Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We'd love to hear from you, the fans, what you thought of this episode and what you'd like to see on new episodes on the way. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next time.